There are seasons in life when you look in the mirror and barely recognize who you've become. Not because you've changed outwardly, but because life has taken you through moments that broke pieces of you, silently, deeply. You've smiled in front of others, while silently carrying the weight of being unseen. You've worked hard, spoken up, stayed loyal, yet still felt invisible, like your worth was always tied to whether someone noticed, whether someone approved, whether someone clapped. And the truth is, that cycle is exhausting. Trying to earn your value, trying to fit in, trying to be enough. But here's the breakthrough. You were never meant to prove who you are. You were meant to live from the truth of who you already are. That identity doesn't come from applause. It comes from your Creator. And His voice says, you are seen. You are known. You are loved. Not because of what you perform, but because of who you are. Not because of how loud you shout, but because of the quiet strength that has always been in you. You've survived things people will never understand. Pain tried to rename you. Rejection tried to redefine you. The trauma of being overlooked, passed by, misunderstood, it tried to bury your voice. But let me tell you something deeper. You are not who the pain tried to make you. There is a deeper version of you, untouched by disappointment, still intact beneath the scars. That version of you is not broken. It is waiting. And it's time to come home to that version. The truth is, what hurt you in the last season does not get to limit you in the next. Jesus didn't teach people to live stuck in their wounds. He invited them to rise, to walk, to live again. And today, you are being invited to do the same. You don't need to stay locked in survival mode. You were made for purpose, not just for pain. You were made for voice, not just silence. This is your turning point, not the end, but the moment everything shifts. You don't need to carry the weight of being unseen any longer, because heaven saw it all. Every moment you cried alone, every time you showed up anyway, every time you forgave, every time you kept walking. And now, you are not being punished, you're being positioned. But here's the part most people miss. This isn't just about healing. It's about revealing. So many of us wait for the pain to end before we believe the good can begin. But the truth is, while you've been healing, heaven has been preparing. Jesus never waited for someone to be perfect before He invited them forward. He called people in the middle of their mess. While you've been asking, why didn't they see me? The greater plan has been unfolding. And it's not about being seen by everyone. It's about being revealed by the one who made you. This is a season where the things planted in secret are going to bloom in the open. Not because you campaigned for them. Not because you shouted the loudest. But because you were faithful when it was quiet. Because you didn't give up when walking away would have been easier. Because you obeyed even when no one clapped, no one saw, and no one understood. You see, God doesn't work according to the world's timeline. His process is about depth, not speed. And the seeds that were planted in the dark, the dreams, the callings, the prayers whispered in silence, they weren't lost. They were maturing. They were growing roots. And now, they're breaking through the surface. What felt buried was being deeply rooted. And now it's rising. This is not random. This is strategic. Your steps have not been wasted. Your silence has not been empty. Every unseen act of integrity, every unseen moment of surrender, every quiet yes mattered. It mattered to heaven. And now things are about to unfold, not as chaos, but as alignment. Conversations will come that feel too specific to be a coincidence. Opportunities will open that require no manipulation. These aren't accidents, they're confirmations. The invisible God you trusted in secret is about to make visible what He's always seen in you. But here's the warning, don't miss it. Don't call it just luck or just a nice moment. Don't minimize the signs. Don't shrink back because you're used to being overlooked. This is not the time to hide. This is the time to recognize, to see what is unfolding and say, yes, I was made for this. You don't need to feel worthy. You already are. You don't need to feel qualified. He already called you. The signs you're about to see aren't random. They are fingerprints. They are God's way of saying, I've never left you. I've never forgotten. I've been preparing you all along. So breathe. You're not behind. You're not late. You didn't miss it. What's rising now is what was always meant to rise. And it didn't come from performance. It came from patience. It came from obedience. It came from a kind of faith that quietly endured. And that kind of faith, the kind that Jesus taught, is the kind that moves mountains, not just by believing, but by staying, by remaining, by trusting when nothing made sense. That is what prepared you for what's coming. And now everything that was planted in private is about to be revealed in public, not to elevate your ego, but to elevate your purpose. So today, stand tall, walk forward, not because you have all the answers, but because your spirit finally remembers who you are. You are not what they called you. You are not what the rejection wrote on your soul. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond use. You are exactly where you need to be. And the next chapter? It's not just a comeback. It's a revealing, a rising, a confirmation that what heaven whispered in your weakness is about to be shouted through your life. You've been asking questions like, why isn't it happening yet? Why is everyone else moving ahead? Why does it feel like I'm stuck? But pause for a second. Has your heart softened during the wait? Have you learned to let go of what you can't control? Have you stopped chasing people who never valued you? That's not failure. That's growth. That's fruit. That's the kind of transformation Jesus always focused on. Inner work, not outer noise. Because before he calmed the storm outside, he first addressed the storm inside. You want the doors to open, and they will. But not before your heart is ready to walk through them. Not before your hands have let go of what doesn't serve your soul. The delay isn't denial, it's design. And while you wait, heaven is still moving. And now here's a hard but freeing truth. Sometimes the thing that's breaking you is the very thing that's making you. Jesus didn't promise a life free from hardship. He promised presence in the middle of it. And not just presence, but purpose. You weren't meant to simply survive pain. You were meant to be shaped by it. Not shaped into bitterness, but into depth, into compassion, into spiritual maturity. That broken season, it wasn't wasted. It crushed your ego so your spirit could breathe. It shattered your illusions so truth could grow. That heartbreak, it made you more tender. That disappointment, it made you more wise. The fire didn't destroy you, it refined you. And what you're carrying now is not just wounds, it's wisdom. It's authority. It's the power to speak life into someone else's valley. Jesus taught that the ones who've been forgiven much, loved much. Those who have walked through real pain carry real power, not to boast, but to bless. But what if you still feel empty? What if you still feel broken? Listen closely. Your brokenness is not a disqualification. It's the very place God wants to meet you. You don't have to get it all together before you're useful. You don't need to clean yourself up to be called. Jesus didn't wait for people to be perfect before he walked with them. He walked with the messy, the misunderstood, the misfits. Not to shame them, but to show them you are still chosen. What's broken in you doesn't make you less valuable. In fact, it's often the crack where the light shines through. The place where you feel most ashamed may be the place where your purpose is born. That part of you that feels least worthy, that's the part he wants to redeem first. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. The scars don't cancel the call. They confirm it. You see, God doesn't just use perfect stories. He uses healed ones. And healing doesn't always look like a sudden miracle. Sometimes healing is slow. It's waking up and deciding to try again. It's choosing to forgive even when the pain still lingers. It's letting go, not because it doesn't hurt anymore, but because you're ready to be free. Healing is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's holy. Jesus always moved toward the hurting, not away from them. And if you're hurting now, know this. You are not a burden to God. You are his priority. He is not repelled by your pain. He is drawn to it. He doesn't need you to be impressive. He wants you to be real, honest, open. Because it's in your rawest moments that the most beautiful restoration begins. So what's the invitation in all of this? It's simple but powerful. Stay close. Don't let the silence, the delay, or the brokenness push you away from God. let it pull you closer. Keep showing up even when you don't feel it. Keep praying, even if your words are few. Keep trusting, even when logic tells you it's foolish. The journey of faith isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. Staying present with God through it all. That's what Jesus modeled. Not a faith of ease, but a faith of presence. And if you stay close long enough, you'll see it. The healing, the growth, the purpose, all unfolding in ways you never expected. Not because you forced it, but because you trusted through it. So let this be your moment. Let this be the shift. Not where everything suddenly changes on the outside, but where something deep and eternal shifts on the inside. Let this be the moment you say, I will not give up. I will not shrink back. I will not believe the lie that I'm too broken to be used. Let this be the moment you remember, the same hands that shaped the stars are shaping you. And the work He started in you, He's going to finish it. Not in your timing, but in His. Not in your way, but in the way that will matter most.